This first question comes from Alan Hunter. Alan writes, I have a decent-sized record collection, but I think I'm falling out of love with music. I have no inspiration lately to throw on a record or CD and listen to the entire thing. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? This is a good question and a good issue to raise because I have found myself in the same situation. I'm not sure if I have fallen out of love ever with music, but my desire to listen to music does ebb and flow. Sometimes I just don't feel like throwing on a record at all. I may go a week or two without actively listening to music. And I think that is totally okay. So if I was Alan, I wouldn't get bummed out too much. I find sometimes if I'm not really interested in listening to music, but then I go and find an album I really dig, that kind of gets me involved again. Or maybe getting a new piece of gear and I hear music in a whole different way. So I think it's possible to fall out of love with music or to lose a desire to listen to music for a period of time. But in my experience, if you have that passion, that fire for music, and you've spent time and money building a collection, eventually it will come back. I wouldn't sweat it. Sometimes if I don't feel like listening to music actively, I'll just throw on a Spotify playlist or listen to Sirius XM or something like that as well. So Alan, man, don't sweat it. I can almost guarantee you, not knowing you, that desire to crank some tunes and listen to music will come back. Okay, this question comes from Flat, Round, and Spun. What inspires you to do other content than just being a show and tell video? Honestly, I think I would get bored of myself if all I did was show and tell vinyl videos. That can get tiring quick. I'm not saying I don't like to watch show and tell videos, but that's kind of only a fraction of the videos I enjoy watching. I try to make the videos that I would like to watch. So I kind of like to explore issues, themes in record collecting, look at the big picture and do interactive stuff with viewers, like Q&A videos like we're doing today, like the Vinyl Dens videos where I show the music rooms of Channel 33 RPM viewers, that kind of stuff. To me, that is a lot more fun than just doing, hey, this is the most recent record I got, if you know what I mean. I still do those show and tell videos. I often do them as my Friday night vinyl videos. My Friday night vinyl videos are record reviews and mailbag items. So if you ever see a Friday video come up, that's what it is. But I definitely like to do more than that, if anything, just to keep myself entertained.
Channel 33 RPM.
PJ writes, a bit random, but I was wondering if you'd ever been over here to England and what you thought of it. I'm almost ashamed to say I've never been to England. I've never been to the UK, but it's definitely on my to-do list. In fact, we're trying to figure out where we want to take a family vacation in November of this year. We're kind of trying to figure out where we want to go. Right now, we're leaning towards Mexico, but maybe England, maybe London. It'll depend on how much money I can save up over the next several months. But I think it would be a blast to visit London. And if I do, I will definitely report back to all of you and let you know how it all went. This comes from Nick S. Is AI going to ruin music or make it better? Seems like we've been using AI for many years now. Did AI make your music intro? Is Frank a robot? Do our little army of 33ers suffer from mass psychosis under the spell casting of popular culture? I gotta say, generally, I'm a little bit worried about AI and the impact it is going to have on the creative arts, on music, on books, on all that kind of stuff, because AI is getting really good. In fact, the intro to my Friday night vinyl videos was largely generated by AI, and as I said, it sounds very good. I did the video aspect and I added certain things to it, but the core of that Friday night vinyl song itself is AI generated. That said, the OG, the original Channel 33 RPM theme, that's all me. Wrote it, played guitar on it, recorded it, sang on it very poorly, if you can call that singing. I do see a place for AI, though. It's a tool, to steal a word, that can help with productivity and that stuff. I just hate to see it kind of taking over in the world of the creative arts, and hopefully it doesn't come to that, because there's nothing, creativity comes from humans, and that hope that we can keep it that way. This question comes from Matt. Did you ever know your channel was going to grow as big as it is now? Also, what's your favorite beer to have while listening to your music? Hey, a two-parter. In terms of the first part, I had zero expectations for this channel when I started it back in 2014. At the time, we were living in a city called Edmonton in the province of Alberta. We didn't know a ton of people there, and my wife Sherry was working nights. The kids were young. So while she was working and the kids were sleeping, I dipped a toe into this whole world of doing videos. Again, I just did it for fun, and I continued to do it for fun with zero expectations. So we'll see how that goes. In terms of what's my favorite beer to have while listening to music, I gotta say, I'm not a huge beer guy. I prefer to have, I'm more of a whiskey guy. That said, I do have beer on occasion, particularly if I'm out with the guys or out having a pizza. Nothing beats a cold beer with a pizza in a restaurant, that kind of thing, or on a hot summer day. And in those cases, I don't like fancy beers. Not really a craft beer guy. I like just a good old regular Canadian beer, Alexander Keith's, Moosehead, anything like that. Robert writes, what influenced you to listen to rock music in your youth, and also the music you listened to since that time? Do your daughters listen to rock music like that you like too? This is a good question, something I've thought about over the years. Like, why are we attracted to the music that we like? What draws us to certain artists and genres? Because all our musical tastes are different, right? And I clearly remember the first time I heard rock, kind of. When I was a kid, I had the Smurfs record called the Smurfs All-Star Show, and there was this one song on there called, this is funny, First Smurfs on the Moon, and there was a guitar riff in there, there was electric guitar, and even in my little mind at the time, I was like, that's cool. Then several years later, I was about 10 years old, I went to my cousin's place and he had an electric guitar and he played the intro riff to Photograph by Def Leppard. And again, my mind was blown, and I was just always attracted to that loud guitar stuff. And why? I have no idea. And are my kids into that stuff? No, they're more into pop, which is totally cool. We all have to forge our own roads. And for me, that road, I was on the road to rock from a young age. That's kind of funny. This comes from Dustin. Sound-wise, are there any differences between official Canadian and US pressings that you've encountered? Speaking in terms of modern and vintage, I can't tell any sound difference between domestic Canadian and domestic US releases. They're pretty much the same. The Distortion Den writes, what was your first concert at the old Winnipeg Arena? Oh man, good question. The Winnipeg Arena was our big arena in my hometown of Winnipeg, and it was torn down several years ago. But my very first concert there was Judas Priest, 1986, the Fuel for Life tour, which was the tour in support of the Turbo album. I went with my friend Chris, and my dad brought us, summer of 86. I was just shy of my 13th birthday. Man, I was so excited about that show. Priest was everything. Priest was my everything. I read every magazine, knew everything about that band. And Bon Jovi opened. They had just finished recording Slippery When Wet, and they did a quick tour with Priest through Western Canada. And I remember my dad was a high school teacher, and he ran into a bunch of his students at that concert. And they were like, Mr. Landry, I didn't know you were into Priest. I didn't know you were into Priest, man. And of course, he had explained that he was taking his son to the show and his son's friend, and he sat at the back of the arena smoking cigarettes for the show. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. All right, 33ers, thank you for making it to the end of the video. How would you answer the questions in today's episode? Let me know. I will be back soon. Until then, keep on spinning.